Well, hey everybody, Mike Griffith here. We're back at the Indianapolis airport, the Georgia team playing the first of three. Georgia coming in waves of three. Three team planes that Delta Jet just touched down out there on the runway. Kirby Smart will be in the room here shortly, and we'll hear what Kirby's got to say, what his opening comments will be. Earlier tonight, Nick Saban, we had Nick Saban's press conference live here from the Indianapolis airport. The Crimson Tide getting here, it was about an hour ago, and we had a short 3 or 4 minute session with Coach Saban, got 3 or 4 comments and questions in, and Kirby Smart will soon be joining us. As I said, that those 3 planes, there's going to be 3 planes. Kirby's on the first one. This is typically how Georgia travels, big travel party. The Dogs, I believe, practiced earlier today in Athens. I'll be interested to find out if they practiced inside or outside. You heard Nick Saban earlier tonight say that the Crimson Tide had practiced outside some. It had been cold in Tuscaloosa, but certainly not as cold as it is here, about 16 degrees here in Indianapolis, and now darkness here as Kirby Smart. We're waiting on Kirby Smart to come into this press room for his briefing before he heads off to the team hotel for the Georgia Bulldogs. Monday night, 8 o'clock, of course, College Football Championship Game. Georgia trying to get off the snide, come back from that 41-24 loss on December 4th. Georgia, a 3-point favorite, and yet it just has the feel that there's just not a lot of believers, even though Georgia is the favorite. It feels like if you pick Georgia to win, people, oh my gosh, why would you think that? Did you not see the game, a month ago? Well, we did see the game, but we also saw an entire season of Georgia football, and we saw Georgia beat teams by an average of about 40-6. That's 6.9 points that Georgia gave up during the regular season, lowest since 1986 Oklahoma. To me, that wasn't a mirage. Sitting there watching some of these bowl games, watching some of these SEC teams compete with teams outside the conference, it really gave me a greater appreciation for what Georgia was able to do during this regular season. I'm a big believer, and I take a lot away from a regular season performance. One of the great things about college football is that week to week, and Georgia was ranked number 1 for 8 weeks, 8 consecutive weeks. That was a school record. The expectations have never been higher. What was it, 5 years in a row, 4 or 5 years in a row now that Georgia has been top 5 team. I think Coach Smart is coming to join us. Let's get this thing rolling.
Wait, come on. Get a check real quick. Ready? 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check. Test 1, 2. You guys good? Yep. Check. Everybody got me? 1, 2. All right. Curtis? Yep. Can I hold this one? Get those?
How you doing? How's everybody?
Doing great.
Cold.
Out in here. Feels good.
What's the mood, Kirby? You guys landed on the ground for you?
The boot's great. Guys have been great. We've had good practices. We're excited to be here. Our guys are really fired up and got a tall task. Got a really good team to play, a very talented team. And, it's kind of unique having to play them. It feels like almost back-to-back. You play them the last game of the regular season or the championship game, and now an opportunity to play them what seems like, I don't know, how many weeks has it been? 4 weeks, 5 weeks since then?
And you look at that tape, you look at other tape, you try to find things you can do differently, things maybe you can do better. And our guys have worked really hard on that. So I'm excited for them to get an opportunity to play. We're not completely done. We get to have a practice here and keep getting better and finding things we can change. But certainly excited.
I think being here, making this trip versus like 4 years ago, it was more local. This kind of brings home this moment.
Yeah, it's a little different. That was extremely unique because we flew all the way across the country and we had a super fast turnaround. I remember that week being one of the toughest weeks of my life because it was like we got home, we started working on them, but then it was almost like a home game because we used our facility for most of the practices before going over. It had a little more of an SEC championship feel to it, whereas this is unique. You get to travel, come to Indy, and the weather is very different for a Georgia-Alabama matchup. I can promise you that.
Kirby, how'd you get through practices on campus in terms of health and everybody, pretty good with flu and that kind of stuff? COVID?
Pretty good with what?
With just flu and COVID, or is it already?
Yeah, we've had great practices. Knock on wood. We got another one tomorrow, but we've had great health, no issues with flu or COVID, and the guys have practiced really hard and done well.
At this point in preparation, this point in the week, what's left for you guys? What's kind of the mission from here until time to kick off?
We keep working on different things. We try to keep our plan, but you're always trying to throw different looks at guys. We're going to see some things we probably haven't seen, just like hopefully they're going to see some things they haven't seen. We work really hard at guys seeing unusual things. I think you can become a creature of habit, and if you see the same thing over and over, you react to it, and when you see something different, you may not be ready for it. So we try to throw a lot of curveballs at our guys and have them react to what might happen.
Stetson Bennett said something, I think it was earlier this week, about this being just another game. How do you sort of balance the importance of this game with also them not getting overly hyped up for the national championship?
I think everybody does it a different way. Every guy's unique. We've got some really young players that probably will have more anxiety, but that anxiety is going to be way down because of the games they've played in. This team opened with Clemson. That was a really big game. A really big game. Went on the road at Auburn and played with a lot of guys injured and sick and out. They've played in some big stages now, SEC Championship, the Orange Bowl. So what happens is you get a little more comfortable when you get in those environments. And we've got some older players that they've played well in all those environments. But you need your young players and your guys in their first and second year to play well in moments like this. And you obviously need your older players to lead them to do that.
How is it different, though, Kirby? This second time around against Alabama, you mentioned just playing the team twice, but this time around against Bama versus the first time in the SEC title game.
Well, I don't know how it's different yet. The preparation's been different. We know more about what we did wrong, what we did well, what we can improve on. It's very consistent in the game of football, and it's boring for y'all. But if you don't win third down, you don't win red area, and you don't win turnovers, you're probably not going to like the outcome. So if you took the stat line and reversed it, then it would be just reversed. You can't have multiple turnovers. You can't lose third down. You can't lose red area, all those critical situations, and expect to do well. So those are things that we've tried to harp on and try to do them better.
Coach, is it fair to say that a lot of your players, this is the coldest temperatures they've ever faced, a lot different than being in Miami a week ago?
Yeah, it's fair to say that. When we got on the buses and the planes, I was like, I just had a sports coat on. I didn't even have a jacket. Luckily, my wife brought this jacket for me because she was prepared. But our players were all winter coated up, and so they're all warm. I told them they weren't going to be outside much.
Kirby, Nolan Smith said that he cried after the SEC Championship game. He told us that this week. Do you feel like that game against Michigan was something the defense needed to kind of get back on track? Maybe if they didn't have as much confidence after the SEC Championship game and brought them back up?
I really don't think it would have mattered if it was the next game that we had to play Alabama. The defensive players we have, they have a lot of confidence, and they're okay looking in the mirror and saying, okay, what did I not do well? What did we do well? And what do we have to improve on? There's a lot of confident guys. They'll be confident regardless of the outcome of this game because that's the way they're wired. They're confident players. So I don't think that helped. I think it was good to go out and have some success, if that's what you're asking. But Yeah, Nolan's a special player. I mean, he wasn't the only guy shedding tears in that locker room. There were a lot of guys, but they also had earned the right to advance and get another opportunity, and they capitalized on that.
Kirby, how important is it, like in any sport, when you get to the playoffs, you kind of got to get hot? Are you getting hot? Do you feel like you got the hot hand rolling into this one?
Well, it's different than, say, baseball or, say, maybe even –
well, the football playoffs, whatever,
yeah. It's a little different, though, because we're in the playoffs all year, right? Like, if we lose, there's a chance that you're not going to advance. So it's the value of the regular season that makes it where every game matters. So we're playing Tennessee, we know what we're playing for. We're playing a regular season game against Kentucky. We know what we're playing for. So it's really more on a continuum of you got to play well all year, because you can't really make or have poor games and be able to advance. But I do think we played well in our last game, and I do think we've got some guys who are gaining confidence. That includes Stetson. The more he plays, the better he gets. And he hasn't played a ton when you think of the grand scheme of things. He's not like a 4-year starter in a national championship game. That's not what he's like. He's getting a lot of reps here in the last 6 months that have been valuable for him.
Coach, can you feel how badly this fan base is craving a national championship after so long? When you're taking off on the bus, when you're just around town, can you just feel how badly they want it?
I can't feel it. I can't say that I feel it, because we work in a little bit of a bubble. We're into work every day. I mean, I feel it probably more because of the people around my family and being a Georgia person and knowing connected to those people. But I can't say that I actually feel it. I feel hot, cold, tired. Those are things I feel. I don't feel most of those others.
Would you rather be the favorite or the underdog?
Doesn't matter, because we don't look at it. I mean, we don't even. We're trying to figure out how we can do it better than them, And I don't get into what all the pundits have to say and what the Vegas line says, because it really does not matter. It does not matter one bit, and everybody wants to make it matter because they need a story to talk about. But I can promise you, the other guy doesn't care on the other sideline, and I certainly don't care. I'm a whole lot more worried about what do I have to do to get my players to play their best.
You're talking about the outside noise. Coach, how proud are you that Stetson Bennett has been able to rule all that out and really hone in and focus?
I'm proud of Stetson and all our players. There's some guys that played really well around Stetson, and that's going to be important in this game. Can they protect him? Can he make some plays outside? Can we establish running game to protect him and not be in long yardage situations? Can we get turnovers on defense and stops in the red area? Because all those things help Stetson and they help our team. And that's the ultimate goal, is to help each other to be at our best when our best is needed. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
So there you go, Kirby Smart, his live press conference here at the Indianapolis airport, and Kirby with a pretty relaxed tone. I think that was a pretty relaxed, direct tone. Really, that was as relaxed as I've seen Kirby Smart in a long, long time. To me, that was a coach that knows exactly what his team needs to do, and that was a coach that sounded very confident that they were going to carry that out on Monday night. I don't know what feel you guys got. I've been doing this a long time, but that is as cool and calm as I have heard Kirby Smart before a big game in a long, long, long time. I liked what he said about every week being a playoff. Again, we talked before Kirby spoke tonight about the importance of the regular season. This is a team that's been focused from week to week to week to week. They know what they need to do. You've heard about the determination and the effort, and we're going to see that Monday night. So stay tuned to Dog Nation. We'll have more programming for you this weekend. You might want to check out our website. I've posted a story on what Nick Saban said is on dognation.com right now. I'll have a story out of this, and we'll have more stories from Connor Riley, Jeff Santel, myself, Michael Carvel, and certainly Brandon Adams on our dognation.com channels. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Have a great weekend.